I was recently exploring one of Mario Kart 8's absurdly detailed tracks when I stumbled upon something interesting. Somewhere just outside of a bustling city lies a roadway known as Toad's Turnpike, and on this moonlit highway I found a bus. A bus bearing the text Toad City Sightseeing, along with a silhouette of a city skyline, the city that looms over Toad's Turnpike. Toad City. But this isn't the only Toad City, there's also Toad Harbor, a quaint little waterside city full of ocean-sprayed houses and storefronts, all set to a stunning seascape that surrounds some sort of knockoff Statue of Liberty, which seems kind of familiar. Let's take a look around N64 Rainbow Road. If we peer down over this track, we see a massive city sprawling below, and in the center is a not quite Eiffel Tower. Well, maybe I was just remembering this great value version of a real-life monument. But if we head over to this city's shore, we can see none other than Walmart's very own Statue of Liberty, which must mean that this shoreline is indeed Toad Harbor. And if Toad Harbor is part of this city, then this city must be Toad City, which would imply that N64 Toad's Turnpike and Toad Harbor both take place in the same city, below N64 Rainbow Road. But hold on, this city's layout looks awfully familiar too. I've seen the same thing somewhere in Super Bell Subway. If you do some spelunking through this metropolitan nexus, you'll come across quite a fascinating map. If we look at that layout again, you can see that this is clearly a map of what we now know is Toad City. We even get confirmation that this is indeed Toad Harbor. We also get the nearby location of Moo Moo Meadows as well as an area called Mushroom Beach. But Mushroom Beach isn't a Mario Kart track. Instead, it's a location in Super Mario Party, which actually didn't get released until after this map was created in Super Bell Subway. Whether it be a careless coincidence caused by an overly generic name, or a fun bit of foreshadowing, this is still a neat detail. And almost equally interesting is the mention of Wario's gold mine in this list, despite it not being placed anywhere on the map. Maybe it sits somewhere in these surrounding mountains. Who knows? Well, this is a pretty interesting connection to make between all of these tracks, and I think it was only possible because of a name and a decal on the side of a tour bus in N64 Toad's Turnpike. Wait, that's not right. This tower is absolutely not the same tower as the one below N64 Rainbow Road. That one is clearly an Eiffel Tower with blocks and mushrooms on it, while this one is some kind of radio tower. Well, maybe they just didn't see it necessary to model this one all the way. But no, the skyline on the bus clearly depicts this building as if it's a staple of the Toad City skyline. And now that I think about it, do these buildings look similar at all? I mean, the actual Toad City has these modern-looking, Tokyo-esque buildings, complete with countless glowing billboards, while the city under Rainbow Road is full of old European-style buildings, with what looks like castle walls surrounding parts of it. Well, what do I make of this? If this isn't Toad City, what is it? After doing some extensive searching, I found a few of these little valleys. For this, we've got to switch games. At the very beginning of Super Mario Galaxy, you find yourself in a beautiful village during the Starbit Festival. If we look around, we start to see some similarities between this place and the Rainbow Road city. The buildings look pretty similar, especially to those in Toad Harbor. And this here valley is what brought me to this connection in the first place. It's clearly not the same, but between the similar architecture, the water features, and the surrounding mountains, this place seems far closer to the Rainbow Road city than Toad City does. After making this loose connection, I continued my research, trying to reach a satisfying conclusion, but the only bit of online writing about this city refers to it as Toad City, and searching Toad City yields mostly results for the completely separate Toad Town, which shows up mainly in the RPG Mario games, and apparently also Super Mario Galaxy, where it's said to be the home of the Starbit Festival. But I think this is just speculation, because as far as I know, the area is never referred to in Mario Galaxy as Toad Town. But let's take a look at Zack Scott's gameplay of Paper Mario and the Origami King, where Toad Town is a location. The castle-y European architecture, the waterfront, the mountains rolling inland, this isn't exactly the same, but it's pretty close. And while it was convenient to place Toad Harbor in Toad City, it makes just as much sense for it to be in Toad Town. In conclusion, the city surrounding N64 Toad's Turnpike is an energetic metropolis known as Toad City, while the city below N64 Rainbow Road is actually Toad Town, the historic capital of the Mushroom Kingdom, which is also where Toad Harbor takes place. This theory isn't exactly airtight, since you would expect there to be some version of Peach's castle in the middle of the city, instead of some weird Eiffel Tower reference. But anyways, I hope you had as much fun as I did trying to make sense of all these fun little details. I think if I do any more videos of Mario Kart's track details, it'll be more like this. I'll just cover something interesting when I find it, rather than dragging you guys through a bunch of boring tracks. Anyways, I appreciate you watching. Thanks.